All right, so let's talk about Dave Ramsey's The Total Money Makeover. Now, this book has sold millions and millions of copies, but what if I told you its biggest, most important secret actually has very little to do with money at all? So let me just ask you this. What if winning with money, I mean really winning, had almost nothing to do with how good you are at math? What if the real key was just this number? And there it is. This is the big one, the core idea of the entire book. Ramsey's whole argument is that personal finance is 80% how you act and only 20% what you know. I mean, think about it, right? We all know what it takes to lose weight. You eat better, you move more. Simple. But actually doing it? That's the real battle. And it is the exact same thing with your money. Wow. Just let that one land for a second. This explainer isn't really about fancy spreadsheets or stock market secrets. Nope. It's about that person looking back at you in the mirror. It's about changing your habits and, well, kind of changing your life. Okay, first section, the real money problem. Because here's the deal. If you don't figure out what the actual problem is, you're never, ever gonna find the right solution. Oof. Yeah, that's some serious tough love right there. But, this is the entire foundation of the plan, taking what he calls radical personal responsibility. The book basically says that you are the biggest X factor in your own financial success, or your failure. And this, right here, shows you exactly why that mindset matters. Get this, the book says 70% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. So if your money situation feels normal compared to everyone else, well, that means you're probably broke. The goal isn't to be normal. The goal is to be weird. And the biggest piece of that normal, broke thinking we have to just tear down is our culture's absolute obsession with debt. Ramsey calls it the great debt myth. We've all heard this a million times, right? Oh, debt is a tool. You use it to get ahead, to build your credit. But Ramsey says that is the biggest lie we're told. Debt is actually what's holding you back because it's stealing from your single most powerful wealth-building tool you have, your income. Every single dollar you send to a credit card company is a dollar that you can't use to build your own future. Okay, so if debt is this monster that's stealing our money, how do we fight back? How do we finally get our income working for us again instead of for the banks? All right, let's get into your new wealth tool. Instead of obsessing over your credit score, the book gives you a totally different weapon to use in this fight. And I'll warn you, it's gonna feel a little backwards at first. It's called the debt snowball. And here's what's so wild about it. It totally ignores the math. You don't start with the debt that has the highest interest rate. No, you start with the one with the smallest balance. And you ask, why? Because this isn't about spreadsheets, it's about behavior. You get that first small debt paid off, you get a quick win, and suddenly you feel hope. Then you take the money you were paying on that debt and you roll it onto the next one. That snowball starts getting bigger and bigger, you feel the momentum. And for the first time maybe ever, you feel like you can actually win this. Okay, whoa, hold on a second. Stop your retirement plan contributions, even if your company matches them. Wait, what? Even the match? That's literally free money. This is, hands down, the most radical piece of advice in the whole book. But Ramsey says for a very short period of time, while you're what he calls gazelle intense about killing your debt, you have to pause everything. The whole idea is that the sheer power of focus will get you out of debt so much faster that it'll make up for that short-term loss. That is just wild, but it shows you how serious this plan is about focus. All right, so we've busted the myths, we have our new tool, the debt snowball. So where do we actually begin? Well, the book lays out this super simple step-by-step plan. It's called the baby steps. Let's look at the first 3. And you have to do these in this exact order. No skipping ahead. Okay, baby step 1, save $1,000 as fast as humanly possible. This is your starter emergency fund. It's the little buffer that keeps a flat tire from turning into a credit card nightmare. Baby step 2, now you unleash that debt snowball and you attack all your debt, everything but the house. And then step 3, only after every single debt is gone, you go back and you build a fully funded emergency fund with 3 to 6 months of expenses. This becomes the foundation for your whole financial life. You can't build the rest of the house till this is rock solid. Man, this part of the book really hit me. It talks about how change is painful, right? And most of us, we won't change until the pain of staying where we are is finally worse than the pain it takes to change. You really have to ask yourself, have you hit that point yet? Is the stress you're feeling right now finally big enough to make you do something drastic? Okay, so let's say you do it. You go through all that pain. You make all the sacrifices. What's on the other side? I mean, what does life actually look like when the hard work is done? And this is so crucial. It's about so much more than your bank account. This is a real quote from someone in the book, and it just gets to the heart of the real prize. It's peace. It's about you and your spouse being on the same team, not fighting about the visa bill. It's about finally turning off that constant nagging stress that's humming in the background of your life. And this quote, this is the motto for the entire philosophy. It's the central promise. If you are willing to live like no one else right now, making sacrifices that your normal broke friends just aren't making, then later, you'll get to live and give like no one else. You'll have a kind of freedom they can't even dream of. I mean, the book is just packed with thousands of stories of regular people who followed this plan, and it worked. Every single time. So the final question the book really leaves you with is pretty simple. The plan is proven. The only thing that's a variable is you. Are you next?